Tons of new abilities that open up a multitude of gameplay ideas. Recall is the ability to control time, and conceivably, if you can go one direction, you can go the other. Here's something to think about. If the enemy throws a projectile at you and you cast Recall, the projectile will go back towards the enemy. Fuse is the ability to, you guessed it, fuse together two items and make your own weapons. Now, weapon degradation is back. I'm not a fan of that at all in the Zelda series, but this looks to be absolutely cool. You can create ranged weapons, you can create close range weapons, and you can even create projectiles that are sort of homing in by using different techniques. Ice arrows are no longer needed. You just fuse together ice elements with your arrows. You can make any type of arrow that you want. So these two abilities together open up so much more in terms of gameplay, so much more in terms of the exploration aspect and the ability to just ground yourself in the world. Check out this right here, creating homing arrows. Just thinking about all of the different combinations that you can come up with in this world and how you can use them. The physics-based gameplay in this new title is completely off the wall. Everything works together. They change if they're combined. So there's going to be tons of exploration when it comes to this title. This is the kind of game that Zelda should be. It should be about exploration. It should be about creativity and fun. I still do not like the weapon degradation. I think that detracts from the overall experience, but I'll get into that later on in the video after we cover some of these huge changes to the gameplay. Some more examples of fuse: taking a puff room, attaching it to your shield, and it essentially creates a smoke screen. You can use this as sort of a strategy in combat, get around behind your enemy and take them out. So you have to really think about the combinations here. There's going to be so much more to explore and see. Another example of the fusing of weapons, a log to a stick, and you have a giant mallet. Ultra Hand is essentially Nintendo Labo in Zelda. So you can pretty much create anything you want out of any of the items in the world, and your imagination is the only thing stopping you from coming up with almost anything. Again, this is the ultimate expression of that physics-based engine within Zelda Breath of the Wild, and now Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, creating a boat using wind to power those things. You can actually direct the wind, so if you're directing it forward, you're going to move forward on the land. If you point those engines down, yes, you're going to be able to create items that allow you to fly through the air. You can essentially create any type of vehicle that your imagination can come up with based on the gameplay. Here is one that I found incredible. It's called Ascend. And essentially, anywhere in the world that you are that has a ceiling, you can then ascend through that ceiling to the top of the game world. And I'm talking anywhere in the world. They demonstrated here a large mountain with a cliff on top. And of course, there's a cave. If you go into that cave, presumably there's a ceiling to that cave, and you can ascend straight through to the top of the mountain. This opens up traversal in a way that hasn't been done, I think, in any video game ever. Take a look at this right here. Absolutely amazing. Think about the exploration. Think about the idea behind getting from point A to point B in Zelda. Not only using all of the other things that we talked about, but just this one new ability here. All of these abilities open up so much in terms of gameplay, and they all impact the game in monumental ways. When combined, it's absolutely incredible. Last thing is this right here, getting knocked off of the sky temples. Take a look at the game world. I'm not seeing any pop in as Link falls all the way down. The Switch and the way that they optimize their games for it is incredible. This game looks to be the biggest Zelda game ever, maybe the biggest game ever in terms of exploration, and the idea of giving you abilities that impact the game world and the gameplay. Now, the one thing that I do not like is the weapon degradation. I feel like it detracts from the overall experience of Zelda. And I know we haven't had that, and it was in Breath of the Wild, and some people love that, and they love the way that it opens up into a more realistic style of gameplay, and the open world is so open. I feel like that is something, again, that detracts from that overall Zelda experience. I like a more tightly confined gameplay space, sort of not totally open, but more directed. It keeps you more engaged with the story and things that are going on. I feel like you can get lost in this world so much so that you forget about the story. It's almost like a Grand Theft Auto effect, and I just personally don't like that when it comes to Zelda. But everything else that I'm seeing here has me super excited to just mix and match and try and come up with the most insane combinations of weapons and vehicles and physics-based gameplay. It looks to be really fun. Let me know what you think about this demonstration that they had here. Are you excited about all these new abilities and the way that it opens up the world to the player? Are you a bit let down that graphically it's not this huge leap going from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom? Think about liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.